0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Good. Welcome back to another episode of the Phixated Podcast. And I am your host, Mike Aslina, and I'm joined by a man who drove all the way out to Lancaster, PA for a club fitting that never happened. Regzy Boo, better late than never.
Listen, it's all good. I was really there for the golf. The club fitting was a bonus. I was there to play golf with my buddies is what I was there for. And we accomplished that.
Well, kind of.
Well, I mean, we played golf. I don't know how you can say we didn't play golf.
We hit a ball.
We did.
On a golf course.
Yeah.
And then around like the 14th, 15th hole, I just got in a bad mood.
You did.
I was in a bad mood.
You know I love you, and we've been friends for a very long time. But you are a person who, once they're in a bad mood, it's really tough to shake.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you really got to mix it up in order to, like, snap you out of it.
Yeah.
And, like, just even going to lunch doesn't do it. I feel like we would have needed, like, a real change of scenery or, like, something else to snap you out of it. But,
yeah,
listen, it happens. So it's all good.
Look, you know me really well. That's a very fair assessment because I, as a genuinely positive human being, someone who does not usually fall victim to the negativity or the bad mood. You're right. When I get in a bad mood or when I get into a funk, and I've been in a funk, I've been in a funk for like a week or two now.
It sticks.
It sticks.
Yeah.
I can't break it. And you know, it frustrates people. Like Andrea is definitely frustrated with like the funk that I'm in. She has said multiple times she wished she knew it was wrong. And so do I. I don't know what's wrong. I get in funks. And when I do, it's really hard to break me of one. So I think that's a very natural thing for people who are positive in general, because we're usually so positive that when we fall into these like moments of negativity or frustration, whatever may cause them.
Yeah. It's a foreign place. It's difficult to navigate.
Exactly. And it definitely happened to me on Saturday.
Welcome to the prequel.
Welcome to the prequel. This is the other podcast that I do, for those of you that don't know. But it definitely happened on Saturday. I don't know where. I don't know when. I know, like, I got a text that pissed me off. I know that I wasn't playing super well, so that pissed me off. I got really hot, so that pissed me off. I don't know which one of those things did it, but like we went to lunch, I couldn't even eat.
Yeah, literally.
It's a very strange.
It was strange.
Hours. Very strange few hours.
I'm happy it happened on like the 14th hole and not like the 4th hole.
Oh yeah,
or else you would have just kind of killed the vibe. Because other than that, we were having a great day.
We had a great time. And then we got to 18, and I ended up pouring out. I hit a piss missile on my second shot onto the green.
Couldn't even enjoy it.
I couldn't enjoy it because I was in a bad mood.
I tried my best to pump you up and keep you going.
When Banksy said afterward, look, like, we're going to have to, you can go, but I'm not going to go. I was like, you know what? Good. I don't want to go. And you know what else pissed me off, Regz?
Well,
the guy who I called about changing it, he was just not a nice person. And that ticked me off too. Yeah,
it did.
So honestly, man, like, it just, I go back to sometimes these things aren't.
You'd played golf for like what, 3 days in a row?
Yeah, I played. What did we decide? How many holes was it?
Which is 54? Which is not typical for you.
No.
I mean, look, it did get hot. We started pretty early. It was actually pretty nice for most of the round.
Yeah, it didn't heat up until like the 11th or 12th.
The back
hole.
9, it did start to get hot, as it has been.
Yeah.
And then stuff happens, and you don't want to go into a club fitting in a bad mood. It's supposed to be a happy occasion.
Yeah, and I just wasn't in a good mood. I wasn't in a good mood.
I'm sorry to hear that it's been lasting this long.
It just hasn't cleared up. That's what I was gonna say. Like I went home, I was feeling a little better, and then like it continued, and this week has just been, I don't know, man, just haven't snapped out of it yet. But you know what? Maybe this will do it.
I'll certainly try. I'll try my best.
I'm
I'm in a great mood. I go on vacation in a week. I can't freaking wait. The Phillies,
vacation,
even though I was stressed out today, the Phillies won today. Like
today, you were stressed out yesterday too.
I was stressed out yesterday. I'm stressed out all the time. This team stresses me out.
It was a whole vibe yesterday.
So I'm gonna do my best.
I mean, look, just already talking about it's put me in a good mood, so that's a good thing.
That's good.
Yeah,
we're gonna slowly chip away at this thing in the next hour or so.
Chip away. We're gonna break it down, and by the end of this episode, I'll be normal Azzy, back to positive.
Good. If your wife wants to text me later, thank you. You know, she's more than welcome.
High vibes, Azzy. So, all right. So let's start here. The Phillies, the All-Star break rolled around. The Phils were at a solid 48-41 heading into the All-Star break. Very respectable record to head into that week off. And they had two All-Stars. One was sort of a surprise last-minute addition, Craig Kimbrell. But let's talk a little bit about the week as a whole. I didn't really watch a whole lot of the pomp and circumstance stuff. I didn't watch the Derby. I watched a little of the game.
Yeah.
Mostly the end when I knew Nick would be in and maybe Craig would get a shot late in the game. I watched those parts. Really funny to see Nick Castellanos play center field.
It was fun. Yeah. So I watched a fair bit of the Derby because the boys wanted to watch it. They were very excited to watch it.
The boys got to love the dingers, right?
They were excited to watch it. And then I would have watched more of the All-Star game. We started watching it, and then they were menaces. So I told them to go to bed, and we weren't going to watch the rest of the game. So that was that. But like you said, I did kind of just wait for Castellanos to be in to watch it, because I watched a little bit. I watched the first couple innings, and then I kind of checked out, and then I came back when I saw that he was coming up. And then stuck around to see Craig close it out there. But
yeah, well, let's do this. First of all, Nick Castellanos, one of the best looking baseball families that has ever existed.
It's very true. It's very true.
I mean, did you see what they wore on the red carpet?
Yeah, I did.
Could you imagine looking that good in ripped jeans and a t-shirt?
No.
No.
Honestly, I can't.
No. So I wear my button unbuttoned. I don't look like Nick.
Yeah. I certainly couldn't pull off ripped jeans, that's for sure.
I mean, I've done that. But like at the All-Star red carpet, these dudes are all wearing like the suit jackets and like
it's just a vibe. Even the kid looks good, like.
But like that's what they do. They are a family of I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
That's who they are.
The pictures of Nick coming out of like the car and going into the clubhouse with like his son are like epic pictures.
Always a vibe.
He was wearing a bucket hat the other day, the kid. Looked great.
But like Liam, yeah, dude, they almost have matching outfits every day. It's hysterical to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can tell that Nick Castellanos, more than anything in the world, loves being a dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it makes me like him so much more.
Mm-hmm.
This guy loves being a father.
Yeah.
And it makes me, just gives me such pure joy to see how much joy he gets out.
Yeah. And I love that like the Phillies allow him to do that stuff. Because you've heard, every once in a while, like listen to that Foul Territory stuff that's got the couple of the ex-baseball players on it. And they were talking about that the other day. Because they were talking about Castellanos and how sometimes, they were talking about when the story came out about Liam like shagging fly balls on the outfield drills and stuff like that. And Przinsky was talking about like, look, I've been in clubhouses or on teams that don't allow that stuff to happen.
The Braves don't.
Yeah, they're like they're just not allowed. Mm-hmm. So I think, just imagine if Castellanos had signed with a team that didn't allow that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he ever gets out of the funk he was in. No, like I don't think it happens.
No, it's clearly a major part.
Yeah.
Being a father is first and foremost to him. And it's been fun to watch the renaissance that he's had this year.
You saw him waving to him when he got on first base after he got that hit in the All-Star game.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really cool.
I mean, he was 1-for-1 with a walk and the go-ahead run.
That's right.
Now, should we go Kimbrel or the Nick Castellanos like great video first? Where should we go?
I guess we're talking about the game, so let's finish with Kimbrel and then we'll.
All right. So I was rooting for Kimbrel to fail, Regz.
I saw this sort of trend happening on Twitter, and Fritz obviously was, of course, big on this. That if we want the Phillies to succeed, Kimbrel should blow this save because it just gets it out of his system.
But that's not the only reason why. More context was back in 2008. Brad Lidge blew one save all year, and it was the All-Star game.
Oh, see, I didn't even think about that.
So I'm sitting there watching this, like, dude, I need you to blow it. I need you to blow this save. For all things good and superstitious, you need to blow this.
He tried. He kind of tried.
He tried really hard, but it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So now I got to live with that for the next 2.5 months.
But good news, he looked good again today.
He looked great today.
Yeah.
And he looked fine yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted him to blow the All-Star game.
I get you. I hear you.
That's all I wanted.
Yeah, I hear you.
That's it. Now they're about to get reinforcements in the pen, so they're really stemming it together right now.
They are.
They are stemming it together.
It's a lot of Andrew Vasquez for my liking.
And it's a lot of Gregory Soto right now, too.
Well, he's been very good.
He
started the season kind of like this, a little iffy, doing his usual thing, but then he really did turn it around.
But even like Marte's taking down bigger innings, and Strom had to take down a couple of big hits, and that's fine because I trust him.
Listen,
but it's a lot of
piecing it together right now.
We could really use Sir and Jose back.
Yeah,
badly.
Absolutely.
But Craig, listen, I'm proud of you. Good job getting the save in the All-Star game. Should have blown it. All right.
Be a team player, Craig.
Yeah, what was on the line.
On.
It's the World Series is on the line. And Craig, you've never won one. So, maybe you did. I'll have to look that up. I don't know if you won one in Boston.
Oh.
I'd have to look that up.
I'll look it up.
Okay. Did you see the Nick Castellanos video?
Yeah, which one are we there were so many, but which one do you want to talk about?
No, the video.
Yes, I did.
The Scooby-Doo video.
Yes, I did.
Why is he awesome at everything of all the things in life?
I forget what article I read. It was fairly recently, but it sort of went into Castellanos as a teammate. And all the guys are like, you could start any conversation with him about anything, and he'll just sit there and be like, why do you think that is?
Yeah.
Or that's interesting. Why do you think that about this? Right? He
just asks questions.
He just sits there and will continue asking why, and will just he doesn't judge. He's not being judgmental of anyone's point of view or whatever topic they're talking about. He just genuinely is curious about everything.
Correct.
And we'll just keep going, just keep asking questions.
That's who he is.
Yeah.
That is who he is. And so for those that didn't see it, I don't know who it was interviewing him. It was during the press, walk around. And he was sitting there and they asked him about, at the stadium, they do this whole thing, ask the players. And one of the questions is, who's your favorite superhero? And you say Scooby-Doo. Can you explain how Scooby-Doo is a superhero? And Nick, it's just a very Nick Castellanos answer.
Yeah.
He says, well, he's a dog, right? That talks. And he pauses and waits for the guy to respond. And the guy's like,
the guy's not sure how to answer. Yeah. He's like,
yeah, he doesn't know how to answer. And he goes, and he saves people by solving their mysteries. So to me, he's a superhero. And the guy's like, okay, well, so he has he checks all the boxes. He has a talent and some mystery to him, right? And Nick's like, yeah, I don't know how that's confusing to you.
Yeah, right.
He's a dog who talks and he saves people by solving their mysteries. He repeats it almost like,
why aren't you understanding this, right?
What's wrong with you?
Mm-hmm.
And then the first night back in Philadelphia, Nick takes the field And there's a dude dressed
Scooby-Doo.
as Scooby-Doo.
Front row, right field.
Now, next thing we know, we're going to have women dressed as Daphne because every woman in Philadelphia loves Nick Castellanos.
Yeah.
So they're going to be in right field dressed as Daphne. And I mean, good for them. They should. He's a great looking dude. Scooby-Doo for the win.
Yeah.
Absolutely a superhero, Regz.
Yeah. Well, sure. I have no issue.
There should be. I don't even know why it was a question. This guy, good for Nick, by the way. Just giving this dude.
Oh, yeah. He's not backing down from his convictions, that's for sure.
No, he never does. Ask Jim Salisbury about that.
Craig Kimbrell did win a World Series with the Boston Red Sox.
Okay, I thought he did. Craig, it doesn't count until you win one. So fine. Okay. We are now, I think what I counted was they're past the 81 game mark.
Oh,
They were past that heading into the All-Star break.
Yep.
They are at the 93 game mark. They are 9 games over 500, 51-42. And we were going to do this on Thursday during the All-Star break, but we just couldn't get on together. So we're doing it tonight. We're doing our mid-season grades. So we're going to go through and grade all the players based on sort of like an expectation curve. So what we expected of them versus their performance. So input versus output, essentially. Yep. And we're going to go around the whole time, and we are going to do fifth starter. We're going to do the relievers who have gotten the most run, and we're going to do the bench-ish players. You know, there
some
are guys that we
more
could
than
do.
Others. They'll understand.
Yeah, you'll understand when we get to it. And then we're going to run through the weekend series. Briefly, we didn't talk about this before. Just touch on, trade deadline stuff before we end the show. So,
right. Are you writing this down or am I? Because I think this would be good to do at the end of the season and then compare.
Yeah, so I've got it right here.
All right.
I've got every player written down. You're gonna start for the first guy, and then we'll alternate.
All right.
So we're starting with JT.
Okay.
A to F, expectation versus performance. What do you got?
Are we allowed to do plus or minus?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, cool.
Absolutely.
C minus.
Okay. Any reason for it? You're just going C minus.
I think offensively we haven't had any sort of sustained run of good at bats. We've had a series, maybe a 3-game set where he's hit pretty well, but it doesn't seem to be translating to even a week of JT hitting well.
Yeah.
I think his pitch calling has been abysmal, to put it lightly. And I think, listen, this could be attributed to some of the new rules, but he's not throwing guys out at the same clip. I think, again, I'm not putting that all on him. I think the new rules do make a difference in that.
Right.
But you had JT Realmuto for that advantage, and I feel like he's just hasn't caught more balls than he's ever not caught in his whole life. Like, he just lets balls sail right past him.
Right.
So I don't think it's been a good JT season. See, I think I'm being a little generous in C minus, but I am leaving some wiggle room for him to figure it out.
I mean, that's fine. I have him as D.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly fair.
I think I'm being nice.
It's not been good.
The offense is now. He had a big hit today, which was itself. The pitch calling is atrocious. It's
bad.
So few and far between when he gets the big hit.
Yeah.
He's dropped out of the conversation for best catcher in baseball. I actually don't even know if he's in the top 5 at this point. He's certainly not the top 3.
No.
So, and again, it's a position that you do sort of fade out over time.
And quickly.
Yeah. But it's been frustrating.
But it's a position where you stick around because you're very, very good at something.
And he still is. He still poses the thought process of the guy at first base of that's still JT Realmuto, and I can't just take off.
Right.
That's still present in a guy's mind, and that's great.
Yeah.
But the pitch calling is always been
really bad. Yeah.
It's been a complaint of mine from day one with JT. The offense has taken a major step back, The base running is still really good.
Yeah.
For a catcher. It's still really good. And it doesn't mean that he's not going to get better, but we'll have to revisit this one.
Yeah.
It's been very hard to watch.
Yeah.
It's been very hard to watch.
He has to be, he has to hit 7th or 8th. He can't keep hitting in the 5 spot.
Right.
He can't keep doing it.
Right.
Like, we have to get over this thing about how much we're paying him or what he expects.
And I think some of that depends on what they do at the deadline.
He has to hit 7th. He has to be behind Stott and Bohm. Like, he just has to be.
Yeah. All right, Bomer. So for those wondering, we have Bomer here because he played a lot of first base this year.
Yeah.
Probably you could consider him to be their regular first baseman.
Yeah.
I'm giving Bomer a B.
Okay.
And my reasoning for giving him a B is a few different things. The offense, the power has not been what we thought it was going to be this year. He started off hot. The offense has been back and forth, a little unpredictable, a little wavery. But I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. The guy has been bouncing between first base and third base all year. He has not been able to consistently settle into position. He's played both positions really, really well. Considering that last year he was being booed off the field in May because of his poor defensive play. And we're approaching the conversation where like he's going to get Gold Glove votes at some point in his career. Been that consistent over there. So yeah, the offense hasn't been great. It's definitely started to show sparks again. I mean, he's still hitting close to like 280, 285.
Yeah.
Which is really solid.
Leads the team in RBIs.
The power, yeah, with runners in scoring position, Alec Bohm is unbelievably good.
Yeah.
Which is why he should be hitting 5th or 6th.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a B. I'd feel odd putting him anywhere else. He's not quite in that A- B+ place.
Yeah.
But he's been a really solid, steady B.
Yeah. My first thought was B-, and that was purely from an offensive side.
Yeah.
The defense has been unbelievable with the fact that he's bouncing around to multiple corner positions. So no complaints there. I just wish he would stop driving the ball into the ground.
That's it. It's his
like
problem.
That's it.
He hits the ball so hard.
He does, but
it's
like
always in the ground.
He just has to figure out how to just get a little bit of lift on the ball.
Yeah.
So that's a B-, and again, I think B is perfectly fair. But it's purely from an offensive standpoint. I have zero complaints defensively about Alec Bohm.
All right, sweet. Which puts us at second base and Bryson Stott.
I'm gonna say again, I'm leaving a little wiggle room. I'm gonna say a very high B+.
Okay.
And I just think, by his own self-admission, he gets in these modes where I think he's trying to hit for more power. Yeah. And he just ends up pulling it and rolling over everything. But like, look, you can't complain.
Missile out of the stadium today.
He did.
Jesus.
You can't complain very much about the offense. He's like one of the best hitters with 2 strikes in all of baseball.
Yeah.
The average is still up there. I think he's lost a little bit of that Bryson Stott, who was happy to like just hit bloopers over the third baseman. You know, just to get on base and figure it out. I wish a little of that would come back. Like Bryson Stott's never going to be a 20 home run guy. Like, it's just not going to happen.
No.
I just wish a little bit of
I'm really tired of like he's in the next Chase out.
No, he's not.
Because he's a white middle infielder.
Yeah, but no, he's not. I think second base in general, he's been playing very well. He's got to learn how to be quicker on the turn, like on double play balls. He's just very slow. That's just, that'll come. It's his first year, playing this position at the major league level. So, I think a very solid B+.
Yeah. So I have him at an A-, so pretty close. We're not far off. And some of it is what you said. He's been solid defensively. That pivot from second is so different than short, which he has done his whole life.
Mm-hmm.
It is such a weird difference in turn, and your momentum is so different. Like second, you get to shortstop, you get to come across the bat.
Right.
Second, you are literally throwing against your will.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about quickness, and he still has a pretty long throwing motion.
It's so different. I mean, Gene Segura's arm was just ridiculous.
And so fast. Like,
yeah.
But that's a guy, again, who's just has played second base forever.
Time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, no, he was a shortstop.
True, but he has been playing second base for a decent
amount. And he has a missile for him. So it doesn't, but the other end of this is the offensive, like you said, the 2-strike hitting, the composure with 2 strikes. There are like 10, 15-year veterans don't have the composure with 2 strikes that Bryson Stott has.
Yeah.
But one other piece that I want to talk about for him that I think is understated unless John Kruk is in the booth is his baseball IQ. The stuff that he does, his innate understanding of every single intricacy of this game at such a young age.
Yeah.
That is Chase Utley-esque.
Yeah.
Chase always had this like ability to know almost, he was like 3 plays ahead of everybody else.
Yeah.
And that's what Bryson Stott is. Bryson Stott is like 3 plays ahead of everybody else. Bryson Stott's a really good base runner who knows like yesterday going first to ball to left field. Soto has a good arm.
Yeah.
And his ability to go first to third on that was all read. It was understanding of where the ball was hit as it was hit and where Soto was. It's this stuff that makes the difference between like a good ball player and a great ball. Mm-hmm. And I do think Bryson Stott's going to be.
Yeah.
So to me right now, he's arguably the best player on the.
Yeah.
And one of the only guys that I trust in a big spot on the roster at this point. So, pretty close there. We moved to third base. We went with Sosa here just because he's gotten most of the reps at third this year. So your thoughts on Edmundo?
This one's very tempered on what the expectation is for him.
Yeah.
I'm going to say a C-. I think if he was a truly everyday player, the grade would be much lower.
Yeah.
But your expectation, like you have to take into account expectations here. He's a backup who has been exposed on the plate and in the field, for playing this much. Yeah. So I'm giving a C-. I don't think there's a lot to explain here. It's just he's overexposed.
I gave him a C- too. What's funny, Regz, is that when you look at career numbers compared to this season, he's pretty much on par.
He's wild.
Yeah, his career numbers, he's a 252 hitter, sitting 249. His career OPS is 693. He's hitting 676. His OPS is 676. In about 660 at-bats in his career, 14 home runs, 68 RBIs. 185 at-bats this year, 6 home runs, 20 RBIs. So he's pretty much like on pace to what he is. Here's the thing about Soto, drops him to, I have him as a C-. It's not really fair because he's not a third baseman.
Yeah.
But the defense has been really poor in comparison to what we're used to from as a shortstop.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to play shortstop for this team because of who plays shortstop. But it's definitely been disappointing to watch him play third base and see some of the plays that he has not been able to make.
Yeah.
So again, offensively, kind of right around what, you anticipate him being based off his career, but certainly not where you want him to be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Trey, that's me.
Yeah.
So, listen, we've had a lot of conversations and I think I'm going to be a little higher than you are. And I'm okay being this, and I'm going to talk about why. So in comparison to what we expect from him, I know that this is going to feel high, but I'm going to explain. I have him as a C+. And my reasoning for this is because we're starting to see now, right around the turn of the All-Star break, Trey Turner. He's gotten some big hits. I don't know if you know this, he's 22 for 22 stealing bases this year. The only player to not be caught this season with more than 12 attempts or something like that. He's 22 of 22. The defense has definitely been a little bit more subpar, I think, than what I anticipated. When I look back at some of the free agency preview stuff, people said he's a little overrated. So that kind of makes sense based off of what we're seeing. He's striking out a lot more. He is, and I won't deny that. But I will tell you this. If I had my choice between 2023 Trey Turner in a big spot or Nick Castellanos in 2022 in a big spot, I'd take Trey this year over Nick last year. And the reason for me is because I just feel like the times he's come up in those moments, he's come through more often than Nick did last year. And I feel like people are writing him off so soon because, oh, well, this is the contract and he's stuck in. Right, fine, cool, whatever. Just remember that you said this because you did the same thing with Nick last year. And Nick was our only freaking all-star this year. So hold on. I know it's not what we expected. I get it. But even just in the first 4 games out of the break, Trey's been better. Trey Turner's having a bad year. He's hitting 250.
Yeah.
Imagine having a bad year and getting a hit every 4 times you hit.
Yeah.
That shows the judgment that we have about this guy and what we expect of him.
Yeah. It's very expectation based.
C+ for me.
I'm still giving him a D.
That's fine. That's fine. I anticipated it. I actually anticipated an F. So it's
you're right. He is starting to steal more bases. I don't understand how he gets picked off. Has he ever been picked off this much in his whole life? What's it been like? Three or 4 times this year?
I've only seen it twice. It could be more.
It might be 4.
Okay.
It's not more than that. But anyway. I just think I think you know this. I don't know if our listeners know this, but I think you know this, that I understand the Casty part of this, how much we were in comparison to what Nick was last year. Trey is certainly not that.
Right.
But I'm not sure why these guys come onto our team and decide to have their worst career years ever in year 1. We just have to. Trey has set the bar so high that yes, there's additional scrutiny that's going to be placed on him, even if he still is hitting 250 and relative to the mass of MLB players, he's still probably in the top end of it. He's just not in the same top percentage that he usually is in. But if you are that kind of guy, that's where your expectations are. It'd be the same thing. If Albert Pujols during his prime at 30 years old, all of a sudden was hitting 20 home runs and only had 80 RBIs, and was hitting 250, we would judge that very differently than if, let's say, an Alec Boehm or a Bryson Stott was doing that. There's just a different set of expectations.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it goes. So for what Trey Turner has been as a baseball player, again, self-admittedly, this might be his worst season ever. And I understand that he's turning it around. I understand that he's starting to run some more. I understand that he's starting to put together some better at bats. He's not swinging through everything like he was in the beginning of the season. But up until now, this has been a D performance based on Trey Turner as a baseball player.
That's fair. That's fair. I am interested to see what the rest of this season is like. I said it on the, I'm going to repeat it now. He's usually a really good regular season, crappy postseason player. So my hope is that when the postseason rolls around, he just goes absolutely wild.
Listen, of course I'll take that, but can you be just a better regular season player?
Maybe.
And then still be good in the postseason?
Left field, Kyle Schwarber, you're up.
Oh God. D again.
Okay. Wow. We are not even close here.
I mean, I don't know. Again, maybe expectation wise, this should be a little bit higher. Like the fielding has been worse than ever. Again, we could say this about Kyle, the same thing we said about Edmundo. He's being overexposed. He shouldn't be in left field every day.
No,
he just shouldn't be.
He's just a gamer. He's a freaking gamer.
So he keeps going out there though, and keeps trying his butt off.
Yeah.
I might have to change mine to a C- because I think I'm being a little harsh.
I'll change.
He started to hit it more. He's starting to hit better. He's starting to put some good swings on balls. I thought even today he changed his approach to just put that ball in play to get the run home. Which is good, which is what I want him to do more and more. Like, we don't need you to hit a home run every time. You're perfectly capable of hitting a few singles and a few doubles here and there. I just think the strikeouts, I don't think his eye has been as good as it has been in the past. He seems to be just missing a lot of balls in the strike zone and swinging at a lot of balls outside of the strike zone. So yeah, I'll change mine to a C- because I think D was a little harsh.
So I have him at a.
Okay.
And I'm willing to put the defense aside, and I think for Kyle, the difference in Kyle as the leadoff hitter of this team is unbelievable. Like, I think he's hitting like 230 as a leadoff hitter. And I know that, oh my God, he's only hitting 230 batting. Bleh. But he's a game changer for this lineup. Like, they were talking about yesterday. I think, I don't know who they asked. I cannot ask. But they asked somebody, maybe it was Topper, about, what that does to a pitcher's mindset to have to face him right off the bat. And he said, look, like, I've had so many leadoff hitters in my career on the bench, right? Like, so many dudes who are just your typical leadoff, like from Johnny Damon to G, like, hit leadoff for a little bit. Like, all these dudes that he his career hit that spot. But what Kyle Schwarber does is changes a pitcher's mindset because he can hit a ball 600. I mean, he can hit a ball that is still going up when it leaves the ballpark.
Yeah.
And that's a really difficult thing for a pitcher to deal with. You mentioned his eye, and it's funny because I was pulling up his numbers as you were talking. I just wanted to speak to a couple of things. Last year, he walked 86 times. This year, he's got 60 walks, and they're barely 3/4 through the season.
Interesting.
So he's on pace for the same number of walks. I think there's a little bit of scrutiny and a little bit of like a little bit of he's under the microscope a little bit more because the power numbers are a little bit down from last year. I don't think he's gonna reach 46 home runs.
Yeah.
He's at 25 right now. So he might get to so the power numbers feel down. He's striking out a bit more. But he's still coming up in moments where I'm like, you know what? I still believe Kyle Schwarber's going to do it. And I think once he gets off his feet.
Well, yeah, that's a huge part of this.
It's going to change everything.
Yeah. He's going to be he's going to have so much more energy and yeah.
I mean, what he and Turner did yesterday, 8 for 12 together or something like that. It was wild. And the offense was insane.
Yeah.
So to me, I'll probably get for this, and that's fine. But I got him as a B because I think what he does out of the leadoff spot is game. And I know that the numbers show 189. But again, that's up almost 30 points from where he was in May. So through batting average. B, Brandon Marsh. And I say B, and I that's what I call him. So I'm sorry. But I have him as a B-. Marsh is such a vibes guy that there's no way I can make him less than B-. the defense has not quite been exactly what I expected.
It's been a little weird.
Yeah. He's misplayed, and he's the first one to say it. He's misplayed some balls he should have made the play.
Mm-hmm.
Offensively, he's been streaky. The consistency isn't quite there, but he's taken the step forward in hitting lefties, which is a great thing to see. I'm not quite there on giving him more than the B-, but I feel like it's a fair place to be. He's 25 and he's still figuring it. I don't see a reason to make it worse than that. I don't think he's played worse than that. I think a B- is exactly what he's earned.
Yeah. I was giving him a B. I think, like you said, the hitting has come a good way from everyone saying when you got him, like, this is just a dude who can't hit.
Yeah.
I think we've seen that that's not the case.
Yeah.
I don't think it can be much higher than that because of the defense. I didn't see this last year, but he seems a little timid to like call guys off and just tell people like, no, this is mine. And that might be because of his personality. Like, he is such a guy that obviously enjoys making other people happy and keeping other people happy.
Right.
And sometimes as a center fielder, like I think I saw it it must have been yesterday because Castellanos didn't play today in right field. But Castellanos was coming over to get a ball and he had his hand out to Rojas. And Rojas was just like, mine, and just like stepped, and Nick backed off. But Rojas was just like, nope, that's my ball. Like, I'm the center fielder and I call who gets it and I have it.
Freaking love him.
You know, but like, I'm not making this huge comparison, but it seems to me that there's a lot of times that like Brandon is kind of looking over and be like, oh, does he have it or do I want it? Like, should I call him off or is he calling it? And then it turns into this huge in-between ball.
Right.
Which isn't easy for anybody. Anybody who's ever played the outfield, if you're not 100% committed to going to get it, like, stuff's going to hit off your glove. You're going to just miss things.
Absolutely.
It's just how it goes. So I think he knows. It's like you said, he's the first person to admit that. So I'm hoping that he like will just sort of get that out of his head. Like, you're the man out there in center field. Like, that is your outfield. I don't care if it's a can of corn. Like, to the other guy, if you're calling it, it's their job to back off.
Yes.
And then, but you have to also own up to the fact that if you miss it, it's on you.
100%.
But it's the other guy's responsibility, as a guy who played a lot of right field. As soon as I would hear my center fielder say mine, I'm curving, you know, I'm turning into the backup. So I think overall, with what we expect from our 9-hole hitter and a guy who came in, everyone said, like, this guy can't hit. He'll just be a good fielder. I think it's been as good as we could have hoped.
It's been great. All right, you're up, Nick.
I mean, A plus. How many pluses can I give?
Yeah. That's the same.
Literally forgetting all of last year, I still give him an A plus.
Yeah.
He's carried this team.
Yeah,
he's carried them. He's been the most consistent. He's improved his outfield ability. Again, the outfield arm will never be fantastic, but
he leads the league in assists.
I know, but like, that's, again, when you're talking about his tools, like, an outfield arm is not like up there on his elite tool list.
No, it's his hit tools.
Right. But his ability, like, his catching ability has improved this year. His ability
his
to
overall
track balls,
fielding ability.
yes, and get to things and all that.
Their analytics have helped him a lot.
Is much improved, and he's obviously put the work in. Like, he's put in the work to be like, I can get better at this, and I'm going to do it, which I think is a credit to him and how he's committed to helping this team win. And again, I know he went over 11 now this weekend. The dude didn't get a break. Like, I think he's just a little bit tired.
Not worried about it.
I'm not worried about it. We've seen the eye has gotten much better. He's hitting balls hard. Like, the doubles machine that we expected him to be has come back. Just keep it up, man. Just keep it up. He's been unbelievable this year.
Yep. I went A plus too. So I don't think there's much more to add.
Yeah.
Bricey Boo. So this one's hard because I want to be fair. This dude played like 58 games before he was supposed to come back.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave him an A-. And I think that's almost unfair of me. Like, I feel like the fact that he came back as early as he did, in which he performed, that I should just give him a straight up A and call it a day. But I mean, you also got to be real. The power hasn't been.
Yeah.
And I could probably say the power has been basically absent.
Yeah.
And
literally.
Give him a B. But the fact that he's come back, played 58 games, and still hitting almost 300. He's finally starting to lift the ball a little bit more, which I think, good luck, National League, because Bryce is about to get hot. And I'm giving him an A-, but I think by the end of the year, we're gonna be talking A+.
Yeah. I'm giving him a very solid B.
Okay.
And the only reason that it's not higher, I think, is because of the power stuff. And I think with a grain of salt, like coming back from what he was coming back from, just he was out of sorts. Like he was out of sync. He hadn't had all the reps he usually gets. It is what it is. I only say this because that's how he was when he came back. Like, I have no doubt he will be back up at the A+ by the time we do this at the end of the season. He's already starting to do it. Like, we already see it pulling through again today with the huge hit to tie the game back again. And he's hitting rockets. Like, these balls are getting hit hard. Even like Cronenworth snagging one and all those things. Even when he hits it at people, he's hitting it hard. So yeah, it's a B just kind of as a default with where he's at right now, but it'll get there. It'll be much higher.
The exit velocity hasn't changed from his career. The launch angle has.
Yeah.
And some of that has to do with just, the ability to use that elbow. Mm-hmm. So that'll get there. You want to go bench, rotation, or
let's just finish the bench real quick. I think it'll be pretty fast.
Derek Cole, I gave him a D. I think he's been
F.
pretty useless.
Yeah,
he's been
useless.
He's just been F's probably. I gave Josh Harrison.
Yep, useless. Move on.
Useless. Totally useless. Garrett Stubbs, I gave a B+. I just every time I feel he does something good.
A B is absolutely where I was as well. He's a backup catcher. He comes in, does his job, he hustles. That dude is there to do whatever it takes.
Yeah. How about the other day playing left field?
Yeah. Awesome.
Just out there doing his thing. He's played like 32 games in left field.
Yeah. That's awesome.
It's wild to me. And Christian Pache, I gave an A.
Yeah. I don't know why I didn't think of this. Yeah. A-. Only, and again, I don't think there's any. I think I'm leaving it for a little bit more room to grow.
Yeah, he's going to grow to an A+.
In terms of his expectations, this guy has through the moon.
We have two center fielders on the roster that like Brandon Marsh last year when he came and played center field, I was like, and now I watch Christian Pache and Johan Rojas play, and I'm like, oh shit, this is a center fielder. Like Johan Rojas playing center field is an entirely being.
He cut off a ball today that I don't know if there's 5 people on the planet get to.
There was a play last night. I think it was the end. I don't know if it was the end of the game or if it was ninth or. It was like a blooper into shallow center, and he caught it at his chest.
Yeah,
so perfectly. And I said out loud just to the room because Andrew doesn't listen. My statement was that no one gets how difficult that play.
I think I remember the exact play you're talking about, and the first thing out of my mouth was, someone get there. And then he just casually was like, right there.
It is. Regz, my fear, and I'm going to talk about this when we get to the deadline. My fear is that this is a showcase and that he's going to be gone. And that really hurts me because how much
I know. You've been talking about him for years.
But just watching him come up and do the things that he does defensively, the hit tool's going to come.
Yeah.
It's going to come. He clearly, he's just got to figure out breaking ball, and he will.
I think.
But this kid's been able to play center field at the major league level since he was 6.
Yeah. Listen,
he's
I think
so good.
If he was left-handed, Brandon Marsh might get traded over him.
Yeah.
Like, that's how much better. And even, like you said, we talk about Brandon Marsh being one of the best center fielders we might have ever seen as a Philly since Shane Victorino. And, like, Rojas and Pache are on such an even different level than Brandon Marsh in the outfield. If either of them hit lefty, there's a very good chance Brandon Marsh would be on a trade package for somebody.
It's wild to see these two running around. Rotation or bullpen?
Rotation first.
All right, Wheels. I got him at a B-.
Okay.
It's not. It's just not been Zach.
Yeah.
I mean, today was better.
Yeah.
Today was better.
Yes.
I still think there's a lot of soft content. But yeah, hard to see it differently. I don't see him as more than a B- right now. I don't know that I have the reasoning other than it's just.
Yeah, I had him at a C. I think this is very much also based on expectations of your number one pitcher.
Yeah.
The fastball command. I think a little bit of this is on JT, and maybe Zach should like be shaking him off more. But like throwing breaking balls in 0-2 counts when guys are like, it's almost like a NOLA 2021 esque. Like, I'm gonna try and throw this curveball all the time to get people out, and people are just like crushing it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think 4 of the 5 extra base hits tonight were off breaking balls.
Yeah. And
they said on the broadcast that the Padres are one of the worst fastball hitting teams in all of baseball. And you have Zach Wheeler up there and you're relying on like sliders and sweepers and garbage like that. Like,
throw your 97
even at 95, just throw the thing.
Just throw it.
So yeah, I think it's a C, but very much based on expectations. Yeah. That this is as middle of the road as Zach Wheeler can look.
Yeah, and it's still so good.
Yeah, again, like what was it today? 3 runs, 4 runs?
Yeah, it's still take the ball, and I feel really good about it. All right, here it is. I was gonna save him, but I'm not. Aaron Nola, I got him at a D-. I mean, for me to do a fixated on you and rip you is pretty telling. Now, again, he's been a workhorse, 119 innings this year. The home runs, though, you know, it is. You texted me yesterday. Why always the home? And I said to you, it feels a lot worse because we're not hitting a bunch. But he's a guy. I mean, he leads the league in home runs allowed. And he's never been a guy who gives up a ton of home runs. He's just never been that guy.
Yeah.
And this year, for some reason, it has been atrocious. The ERA is about 4.5. He's 8-6 this year. It's just been a weird Aaron Nola year in a contract year. Now, that being said, I can totally see Aaron Nola getting into the postseason and just pissing on everybody.
Like, good. Like, how about you show maybe that like you're in a contract year, and even if you're not signing with us, like, how about you just show that maybe you give a crap?
Need you to shove Aaron.
About this. How about you go out and like have the mentality of, I need to go out there and show out every start I'm in.
What do you got him at?
Oh yeah, I'm right there with you. D-.
Okay. Plenty of room for growth there, Aaron. Ty.
I'm gonna give a B.
I gave him a B+.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, he struggled early, but he's been phenomenal.
Yeah, this past outing wasn't fantastic, but still kind of held it together.
Again, week off, right?
Right. And also probably your number 4 if
Yeah.
Ranger's going how he should be going.
And a tough lineup.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a good
Especially to not have your best stuff and still go out there and throw 6 and not give up 9 runs. Like
Ranger and Ty really fought yesterday. I mean, they did not have their stuff.
No.
And that's a good lineup that you faced, but the game never got away from either of them.
I think
allowed for the offense to chip away and do what they have.
Yeah. I think Ty has been very good.
Yeah. Ty has been phenomenal. I think did he get the win yesterday? Because if he did, that puts him at 11.
I don't know if he did. I can't.
He
did he?
He
wow,
it.
incredible.
Yeah, he got it. Yeah, he got the win because they were up 4-2 when he left. Scored a ton of runs. So yeah, he got the win, and that puts him at a resounding 11-3.
Yeah.
And I don't love the pitching.
I know you
stat,
don't.
but
I know you don't.
I mean, it is cool to see a guy like him do what he's doing. Ranger, I have him as a B+. He got off to a rocky start and really turned it around. His last couple of outings have been a little bit concerning because he hasn't been throwing the changeup as effectively, hasn't been locating as much with the fastball, which has kept him from the changeup being effective. But I think it's picky, and for the most part, Ranger has been arguably the best pitcher in the rotation.
Yeah,
for the better half of a month or two.
I just think I have to give him a little less than I give Ty, so I'm gonna say B-.
Okay.
Because I don't think he's had he had what 4 starts in there that he was really good. But Ty has had like almost 9, or 8 or 9 plus that have been really good.
That's fair.
So I have to give him a little less than Ty, but when he's going, like, Ranger is still very, very good. I just need it. I just don't know why it ebbs and flows like this. I just wish when we always talk about Rangers being this guy who's cool, calm, collected, and should be really consistent because nothing bothers him. But there's just these moments where the command is just.
Yes,
and I think if the fastball command is the key, and I just listen, I think you'll get it back, but.
All right, let's jump to the pen.
All right.
We'll start with a couple of names that people might not be as familiar with. Andrew Vasquez. I put him at a B.
Yeah, I was gonna say a B.
Yeah,
I think for how much he's pitched,
fine.
and he's a weird lefty who only throws sliders at like 80 miles an hour. Like,
yeah,
I don't know how. Again, expectations based. I think
he's been fine.
In general, he's been fine.
He's been fine.
Yeah.
There was a game that he.
Yeah. Right.
Like he's been fine. What about Jeff Hoffman?
A+.
Are you recency biasing that one?
The plus probably.
Yeah, I gave him an A.
Yeah, I think yes. I added a plus maybe just based on today, but
based on expectations. I mean, the guy's got a 2.59.
Yeah,
3-1. He's gassing 98 with like a 90-mile-an-hour slider. It's nasty stuff, and certainly you need these types of breakouts, right? Like Andrew Bellotti last year. But Hoffman gave him 2 innings today against a really talented lineup.
In extra innings with a runner on second base, right?
Didn't allow a run. So.
Wild.
And again, I'm not calling it recency bias because he's done it more than once this year.
He's been very
out.
I think it's an A easily.
Yeah, I gave him an A for sure. How about Junior Marte? I put him as a B. I think people have been really hard on Marte this year. He's had a couple of outings where he's struggled.
Yeah, specifically in the beginning, right?
But it's tough because I think if Junior Marte's your 6th inning guy, no one cares.
Right. He's had to replace Sir Anthony Dominguez,
and Jose Alvarado.
Yeah.
He's had to pitch innings for both of them.
Yeah.
And I think for the most part done a really good job. It's when they try and get that second inning that he struggles. Or early on, he was just having a hard time locating, but he's been really good overall.
Yeah.
I gave him a B.
That's exactly where I was. I think, again, based on the expectations of this guy in the role he's had to step in and play, I'm not sure what else you could expect out of the guy.
Yeah, same. Matt Strahm, I gave an A. And the reason I gave him an A because I know that he's had moments. I know he's struggled here and there. But I think based on what he's had to do this year, he's taken down a lot of innings. He's gone back and forth between rotation and pen. That for me, the choice to give him an A seems fair, and he's been effective. He came in tonight or yesterday and got some big outs. Came in today and got some big outs. So yeah, I think Strahm. I always forget he exists too.
In the pen, yeah.
You know, like he all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's Matt Strom, and I'm like, that's right, we have Matt Strom.
Yeah.
You know, so for me, it's
Yeah, I'm giving a very solid B+.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Okay. Which brings us to the big four. Let's start with Gregory Soto. What you got?
I'm gonna give Gregory Soto a. I'm gonna say a B.
Yeah, I have him at a B-.
I think there's still plenty of room for him to get like a lot better.
Yeah. For me, it's consistency.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. It's just he has all the stuff. Yeah. There seems to be no reason that he has to like walk two guys with 2 outs in an 8th inning. Like there's just no reason. Yeah. He has to just find his way to not. I don't know if it's not try so hard or just not. You know, I think he'll figure it out, and I think overall he's been very, very solid.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. There's just been outings where it's like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know,
just for again, it seems for no reason.
Yeah. It's not to me at all. I feel like I'm even being hard on it with a B-, but it's just that consistency that's gotten it.
Yeah.
All right, sir. I gave him similarly a B-. The lack of consistency has been concerning this year. The stuff is still there, still throwing hard, but he's not locating nearly as well as what we've come to expect. I wonder how long he's been dealing with injury. Sometimes guys tend to treat that as just like your natural, your run-of-the-mill pulled muscle, and they try and pitch through it. And I wonder how much of that was affecting him. We'll see when he gets back. I know he threw a bullpen, should be starting his rehabs. An oblique is nothing to screw with.
Yeah.
So if he was screwing with it, shame on him, because it definitely cost him. He was not as
right.
So
yeah, and I think we have to go off the information that we have. Like we can't assume that he was fighting through it.
Right.
So mine's a C. I just think he has not been very good.
Yeah. Which sucks.
And again, for seemingly no reason. Again, maybe that he was battling through that, but with the information we have at hand, we don't know that to be true. Mm-hmm. It's certainly it's a very real possibility, but if I don't know if that's true, then based on who you've shown you've been able to be, I don't think it's been great.
Which then leads us to Jose Alvarado is in 26 games pitching to a 1.38, 26 innings, 39 strikeouts, and a 1.15 whip. The ERA could be lower. He came back his 2, so that's why you got the 1.38. I gave him an A-. Like I still think he's been one of the better relievers in baseball, and I think he struggled a little bit since coming back, but clearly I don't think he was completely healthy.
Yeah, I gave him an A. Like even coming off the injury, the velocity was still there. Something was a little bit off, like you said, but he is.
Yeah, something's askew.
We know he's battling something. We know something's going on with this inflammation that he's getting.
Yeah.
And the way he was before he got injured is just like absolutely the best version of a reliever you might ever see. So
yeah. Which then takes us to our last reliever, and that is All-Star Craig Kimbrell. Regz, I gotta tell you, what a scoop and score for Dave Dombrowski. This guy has been.
Yeah.
I gave him an A+.
Yeah.
I don't know. Since obviously the Muncie Grand Slam was a thing. But since then, he has just been unreal.
Yeah.
So
expectations based, this is an A+.
The Phillies have in their historically over the last decade since the Bradley have not had a closer, and they have just said, "Here you go. Here's the 9th inning, Craig."
Yeah,
that tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah,
he's got the 9th. The 9th is his.
No one expected this to happen.
Oh God, no. We were hoping that we would get 7th inning Craig.
Yeah, and that he would still be able to throw 95.
What did you A+?
A+.
Okay. So here's what I can tell you looking at. Neither one of us thinks they need to upgrade the bullpen.
No, not with those guys coming back, hopefully healthy.
neither one of us really thinks they need to upgrade the bench, because I think just a tweak here or there is going to fix that. I'd almost rather Clemens than Hall at this point too on the bench, if I'm honest with you. And then Harrison, I don't freaking know. God only knows.
I mean, at this point, release him and bring up Kingery. What's the difference?
Fine.
What's the difference?
Fine. Yep. Fine. Actually, totally fine.
What's the difference?
Fine. 1,000% fine.
At least Kingery would like still have some athleticism
and this more versatility
and can play better all over the place, right?
More speed too. I know where people are at rotation wise, and I still hear people fifth starter. I need to caution everybody that if you're going into the trade market for a fifth starter, you better temper your expectations, because you're not getting somebody that you really like is really a difference maker.
Yeah. You're not getting even like a Taiwan Walker or like a Ranger. Like it's not.
So it's fine. It's fine. But think last year, who'd you go and get? Noah Syndergaard.
Yeah.
You're getting that.
Yeah.
Maybe worse.
And
so
Christopher Sanchez has been fine.
Yeah. So I just caution everybody saying, well, we need a fifth starter. We need a fifth starter. We need a fifth starter. And saying that if you're going to get a starter, make it a 2 or 3.
Right.
Don't make it a 5. Like I've seen rumors about Kyle Hendricks. I've seen rumors about Marcus Stroman. Like those guys, if that's who you're bringing in. Cool.
Well, yeah. Again, like then if you have either Ranger or Taiwan as your fifth, like, awesome. Like that's great.
Fine.
Yeah.
Fine. But like, then I'll see somebody say like, I'll see that rumor and I'll see like a fan respond and say, well, they don't need that. They need a fifth starter. What are we talking about?
We have one of those. His name is Chris Sanchez.
If I can get Kyle Hendricks or I can get Marcus Stroman, I'm going to take them over your fifth starter and let Taiwan Walker be my fifth starter.
Right.
That's what I'm going to do. So I just caution people. And I want to I understand like that, because we lost the World Series based on the idea that we didn't have pitching. We have 4 guys this year.
Yeah.
Last year we didn't have a 4th.
Yeah.
We got in with 3. We used 3, and then we tried to figure out day 4.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, you could go into a playoff series and you've got 4 dudes who can go 5-6 innings of 3-4 run baseball.
Yep. Yeah, and their potential is better than that.
Yes.
Like when you started Bailey Falter or Chris Sanchez, if you only get 4 runs, like you're like that's amazing. Like they've done their job and then some.
Absolutely.
But the 4 guys that we can go in there with are like their top end is 1 run.
Yes. Yes. And then you figure, oh, you've got the 7th, 8th, 9th with the bullpen that they have.
Yeah.
So you're in really good shape. And I want to make sure that people understand that if the Phillies add a starter, I doubt it's going to be a bottom barrel starter.
Because there's really there's no point.
No, you've got your 5 right now. But if you're going to bolster the rotation, you're adding a middle of the rotation arm.
Yep.
Like we've already talked about. For me, though, number 1 needs to be offensive to get Kyle Schwarber out of left field every day.
Yes.
And I still think it's an outfielder. I don't like if they add an Arenado, fine. Deal with Schwarber out there every day, but it's Arenado. So Arenado can catch 90% of the ball
right.
that Schwarber can't get to. So that's fine. But it's a long shot that that's happening. So I'd anticipate a left fielder like a Duvall. I'd anticipate a left fielder like a Thomas. Those are the guys that I see in the next 2 weeks becoming Philly.
You just have to, like, I know it's the bottom of your lineup, but the bottom 3 spots, like, can't continue to have, like, a guy named Drew Ellis and Derek Hall. Like,
right.
You got to do something. They're just black holes.
Right.
Like we know Marsh can get it done sometimes. We know Pache can get it done sometimes. Rojas will, again, he's not known to be a great hitter, but you kind of take that if he's hitting ninth. You're just like, whatever, that's fine. Go play the defense you know you're supposed to play.
Correct.
Like your seventh and eighth guys. And again, JT shouldn't be your fifth guy.
Mm-mm.
JT should be at 7.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like you still, to compete with the lineups that are in baseball right now, you can't have black holes in your 7 and 8 spot.
Yeah.
You can't. You just can't do it. You have to get better.
And Bryce is playing first this week.
Yeah, I'm going on Tuesday. I might see him.
They didn't say which day.
No,
yet,
they didn't.
but he is going to play first, and I'd anticipate it's going to be like one game this year.
Yeah.
And then they'll ramp it up.
Yeah, it's going to be
more.
very slow.
Yeah, which is fine. I think though, the plan has to be, if we're getting somebody to play the outfield, we have to know that Bryce, 1, can do it. 2, is willing to stay there long term. Because if you're going to go add a left fielder, now if you get a guy like Duvall, he's gone after this year. But if you're going to add a dude who has a few years, Lane Thomas, for example, then you're adding him thinking that Bryce is fine playing long term. If Duvall comes, then you look at Bryce the rest of this year and you say, all right, well, good news is that Bryce can play here. We'll talk internally about whether or not Bryce wants to play here.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're in a win-win, because if he's cool with it, then we can look in the outfield and say, all right, well, we found our left field for years. Or you can look at first base and say, Bryce, we're going to put you back in the outfield. We found our first baseman for the next few years. So like you're in a win-win then.
Yeah.
But you have to figure out, 1, if Bryce can play there.
Right.
2, if Bryce wants to play there. So we're gonna find that out real fast here this week. I do believe, as I look at this, talk just briefly about the weekend. They hold some pitching advantages this week. They've got Julio Teheran on Tuesday against Aaron, so you're gonna get to see Aaron live. I'm sure you're. Then they face Wade Miley.
Who?
And that's Wade Miley. He's pretty good. 6-2 with a 3.06.
Okay.
He's been a pretty good veteran.
Good for him.
Sanchez 0-3 with a 3.26 for. And then on Thursday afternoon, Regsy Boo, that's where it gets a little dicey. We get to see the one and only Connor Burns. And we have Ty Walker on the bump for us, which is great. Corbin Burns, not Connor Burns. I'm sorry. Taiwan Walker on the bump for us. And I mean, it's not the end of the world, but
Corbin's been a little bit off.
Hasn't been great. And then we go to Cleveland, and then we're back home to Baltimore. So obviously, it's a 9-game stretch. Baltimore's been playing really well. They're baseball right now. They think they won the road today.
Yeah.
So you've got nine games here against some decent competition, but 6 of those games are at home.
Yeah.
And the 3 that are on the road are against a team that should be able to handle.
Yes.
So I'm Regz, I gotta be honest, man. I'm getting greedy because I think they're playing really good ball right now, and I'm looking at 7-2, 6-3.
I was gonna say 6-3.
Yeah. I'd like to see a sweep in here. I just don't know if there's a team to sweep. Cleveland, if you're playing at home, Cleveland, but on the road, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I'm hoping 1 loss from all of those.
Okay.
From one from each series.
Okay. Yeah, and then 6-3 is that's very respectable.
Yep.
And then you've got a 7-game road trip where you've got Pittsburgh and freaking Miami.
Yeah.
Anything that you want to highlight from the weekend? Obviously, winning a doubleheader is like
unheard of and unbelievable. And the fact that they won today, I can't believe it.
What a win today!
Can't believe it.
It's not a game. It's not a game this team wins all.
No. Like, and I think I saw Fritz tweet this too, but he's like, the fact that they had to come back in all their wins, hopefully just shows them that like they had, like, this is what they can do. Because in the beginning of the season, if we got down, like, it was over. The offense just went into nothing.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I texted you yesterday and said, it's better to get down early. Gives you time to chip. And they did. They chipped every single game this weekend.
mm-hmm.
They have the offense to do it. And I do believe as Bryce gets hot, which he is, and Trey gets hot. I mean, just this lineup, top
And
to bottom,
again,
if they add another bat.
if they're doing it
not
with
fair.
Derek Hall and Drew Ellis in the lineup, like
Add one more bat, Dave.
exactly.
One more bat. And just like a dude. I just need a name that I know. Like I'll take Adam Duvall every day.
Yeah.
Like just real quickly, let me roll through. Let me just roll through Adam Duvall's stats this year. I don't know that he's the same guy, right? I don't know that it's the same dude that we've become accustomed to. He's playing in Boston right now, I believe. Yes. Let's see here. He is slashing 256, 326, 538 with an 864 OPS. He's got 7 home runs with the monster. Playing it again in a really different state.
But again, this is our 7th hitter, our 8th hitter.
Well, he's also not playing every day.
Yeah.
So they would probably do is use him. I don't know what they would do. I'd be interested to see. But yeah, he's hitting 8th. And I think if he's available, he makes sense for them. I'd still like to see a guy who can play every day out there. Again, Lane Thomas is the guy
would be legit.
He's the guy I want.
Yeah.
Certainly.
He's not that expensive either.
He's not going to cost a lot.
I know.
I don't even think Johan has to go in that deal.
No, with the prospects that they have, they don't need a center fielder.
Yeah,
you would have to think it's on the pitching side. So Griff.
Well, and then you have to think about from Dave Dombrowski's point of view and from the front office's point of view. Do I want to give up McAble, who we're gonna have to face for years and years to come?
But maybe Griff. Maybe Griff is enough.
Maybe I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't even know if that's what it takes. We'll have to wait and see how it plays. I will tell you this. There's going to be an outfielder coming to the Phillies.
Yeah.
Or Nolan Arenado, whatever, either way. I don't really have a lot to add from the weekend. I think, ballsy wins and they get a day off now and they get a chance to put some distance between them and Bird Hunt with them. They are basically all but tied with all 3 teams that are in front of them. So they really, Regz, with their September, they hold quite an advantage. I mean, like I said, we have those 9, then they get Pittsburgh, but Kansas City, Washington, Minnesota, 10 games at home, Regz.
Yeah.
That's a 10-game homestand.
8-2 minimum.
And then you get 2 in Toronto, 3 in Washington. And then come home to play San Francisco, St. Louis, and LA. Another 9 games that you need. They have 19 games at home in August that they need. That I don't even say this half joking. 14-5 is the expectation.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the expectation. And if you do that through August and you go 500 on the road, 5, 7, 8, 4-4 on the road, 19-8, that's a damn good August.
It is.
That's a damn good August and has you set up into September, which is I tweeted the other day that next year September is hard. Milwaukee, San Diego on the road, Miami, Atlanta at home, St. Louis, Atlanta on the road, New York, Pittsburgh, New York to end this year.
God, yeah.
So you've got to.
That's not a lot of fun.
The next month and a half, they've got to be playing their best.
But
ball.
This is what you use to go into September, being all right, we can do this.
It's what they did last year,
right? You have to use this month to solidify your confidence, get everything back on track, so you can roll into September playing the best that you're playing.
They used July and August to build up enough cushion.
Yep.
That would they lose in September? They lost like 7 in a row.
Yeah. Yeah.
And somehow still found a way into the playoffs.
Yep.
So they need to take advantage of that August schedule. That August schedule is not.
Yes, it's not.
I mean, it is not outside of Miami. It is not.
Baltimore is probably the hardest team they play.
They play them in July.
All right, that's what I mean.
I mean, it's literally August is Miami, Kansas City.
Yeah.
The worst team in baseball. Washington.
Yep.
Minnesota. That's all at home.
Yeah.
Toronto is tough for them,
yep.
but they handled Toronto this year. Washington again. San Francisco.
Always for whatever
but that's at
reason.
home. That's at home.
Yeah.
St. Louis. They're dreadful.
Yeah.
And the Angels. I mean, like, it's not a hard August.
Yeah.
So they've got to take advantage of the next month. They need to be in that 1 or 2 spot for the wild card.
Yep.
Technically I'd love to see them in the 1 so that they can play a home series against like the Diamondbacks, because right now the Dodgers woke up, so
yeah,
they're leading the West, so it'd probably be the Diamondbacks. All right, well, Regz, we've covered a lot tonight.
We did.
We got through.
We made up for some lost time.
A lot of baseball. Quick Phixated. I am wrapping up my journey of Ted Lasso, and I'm not gonna say a whole lot. I'll probably wait till we finish it and do like a legit Ted Lasso Phixated after the fact. But I want to just say a couple of quick things about the show. Not necessarily about the character. I'm gonna save that for the actual like end of series Phixated. What I want to say about the show in and of itself is that I don't know that there's ever been a show that has both made me feel all the feels but laugh all the laughs the way that it does. Like episode after episode, I'm just so engaged with every storyline. And we talked before we started recording that this season, more so than the others, they really bounce around.
Yeah.
Like they really try and really like open new storylines and close them within episodes of each other. But I'm so invested in all of it, and I buy all of it, and I think that's just because of how good of writers they are. You know, I know how Jason Sudeikis wrote a lot of this series, and Beard, the coach, his best friend, they wrote a lot of this together. But the just the positivity of the show, I feel overall, Regz, I feel like it was a I do feel as though Ted and I, and again, I'm going to talk more about this when the time comes, but I feel as though Ted and I are very similar in a lot of ways. Just that we have these positive feelings often outwardly, but get eaten up by a lot of negativity. And I've just appreciated his like journey through this series so much. And now that it's coming to an end, there are shows that like when it comes to an end, this sucks. Like I felt that way with Dexter when Dexter was on. I felt that way with The Sopranos. With like How I Met Your Mother and The Office, like those shows I've always kind of felt. But this, I feel like it's ending too soon.
Yeah.
Like the other shows felt right.
Yeah.
Felt like it was time. They held on too long. Like it was time to hang them up. It feels like there's so much more here. And I feel like I'm losing my spirit animal way too soon. I'm very curious to see how the Ted character gets wrapped up, because I've heard a lot and unfortunately I've avoided spoilers,
yeah,
but you can't avoid everything. And I haven't been able to avoid the fact that they might do like a spin-offy type of thing without him. And that bothers me because from a show standpoint and from someone who really likes the character, it just feels like they're cutting out the soul of the show.
Yeah.
So I will keep you posted on my next week.
Yeah.
Well, is next week it for you? Are you gone or is it
So this week coming up, we're here. We are gone the week after. So the 24th to the 28th. Yeah.
Come Thursday.
It'll be done. Good. Can't wait to talk to you about it.
We've got 10, 11, 12 left.
Can't wait.
That's it. So come Thursday night.
I'll rewatch just to make sure I'm not missing anything. Because
I am going to be a freaking emotional bag of mess.
I can't wait.
Having to say goodbye to him.
Yeah.
Because we share so much.
Yeah. We're going to save some time in that show for a big Phixated because we're going to have some talk. We're going to have some talking to do.
Okay. All right. Well, that being said, everybody, thanks so much. We appreciate all of the viewership, the support, all of the above. So much fun. Listen, you know where you can find us. Make sure that if you're watching us on right below us here, subscribe, leave a comment, respond, share with somebody that you love and loves Philly sports, because if you send them this, they'll know you care and they'll know you love them. You can follow us on all shows podcasts on Instagram, Phixated Pod on Twitter, as well as at being on Twitter as well. You can me at the mic drop 5 with his fan page on, and of course click the merchandise link in the description here. Otherwise, y'all, we appreciate you listening. We appreciate you stopping us for tonight. We'll be back on Thursday with 3 days worth of Phillies, maybe some Eagles news, maybe some Sixers news. If not, you'll be spending a lot of time hearing about my reaction at the end. Otherwise, take care. Be good to your each and every. We'll talk to you soon. Go Phils. I love you, Ted.
Go Phils.
Oh my God! Deep to right field, way up there and way out of here.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.